Hi everyone, my name is Krishna Pillutla. I'm an assistant professor in the Wadhwani School of Data Science and AI at IIT Madras. I've been here for the last about 15 months, and my research interests broadly revolve around building AI which is more robust and protecting data privacy, preferably with some sort of provable guarantees. So my journey started in the final year of my undergraduate studies, where I had the good fortune of a research internship at Microsoft Research India. And that was the first time I got exposed to machine learning. And I found it to be very interesting because it had some cool math and it also had some cool applications. And that is in fact what I also find at least intellectually very interesting about it today. Besides also the massive promise for delivering a lot of good to the society, which also excites me quite a lot. It's a great question. So all of these are obviously great, and all of these play a huge role. But for me, the biggest factor by far is to be able to work with students. An honor and a privilege, and something I'm very grateful for, to be able to spend almost every day with students who are full of energy, who are hungry to learn, and want to go out and make a big difference. So helping them along on their path is something that I feel very motivated to do. Of course, it helps that we have the freedom to choose research problems which are, in our view, the most impactful and interesting. And it also helps that with our research, we can have massive impact in both the country and around the world. So one of my research areas, as I said, is about protecting data privacy in AI. And we are looking at trying to apply some of those methods to improving the prediction of tuberculosis. So TB, as you know, is one of the deadliest killers in India. A not so fun fact is that for a few years during the pandemic, COVID surpassed TB, but before that and now since again, TB is the largest killer in India. And the thing, if we look at the various stages of TB, we miss out on a lot of people at the detection stage. So there are a lot of positive cases that we don't capture, but we know how to treat TB. So if we can capture more of the active positive cases, like we can already start to tackle the disease much better and put us on our path to eradication. Unfortunately, AI-based tools to detect TB, they're making a lot of impact, but it would help if they were more reliable than they are today. So we are looking at incorporating information about patients, about their health, things like, for example, comorbidities. So HIV status changes the way TB looks like in chest X-rays and so on. So incorporating that information can be very valuable. But then again, something like HIV status is very privacy sensitive. If you trained a model based on a bunch of data that you've collected, and if the trained model inadvertently releases the HIV information of someone who is in your training data, that's very problematic. It leads to a lot of stigma in society, and it's something which is also ethically not right. So we're looking at how to leverage that data in a statistical sense, so at a population level, while protecting the privacy of individuals whose data is used to train the model. So recently we had this student who joined our program. Of course, this is the start of the semester, so we had a new batch of students, and I'd given one of them a paper of mine to read, and then we were going to have a discussion on that. And the student comes up and says, "I can do better than what you had in your paper," and I was very pleasantly surprised to hear that. And of course, I thought about that before, and I was pretty sure of the fact that we can't do better than that. But it was so we had a debate about it, right? And we exchanged our points of view. We initially started from different positions, and then we understood each other. We tried to work towards a common ground, a common language, and find points of agreement. And at the end of the day, we did arrive at an agreement. So a nice, healthy debate can be heated but respectful is fantastic. So that day, so that meeting was scheduled to be 1 hour, and we ended up talking for over 2.5 hours. So it was a lot of fun. At the same time, I also find it to be very cool when so the other day there was another student of mine who, in the course of his project, made a connection which I had not even thought about, and it was amazing. It was a fantastic connection. It was one of those moments where you go, but that's obvious, right? And so when your student makes that connection, that feeling is second to none. This is a very exciting time in the field of AI. The fact that it is having and continues to have like a massive transformational impact on society is very clear. So there's a lot of room to do a lot of great work and to deliver impact, improve the lives of a lot of people using AI. So this is a super exciting time to work in this field. I would say that there are two or three aspects to this that one should pay close attention to. First is the fundamentals, right? So one can't just treat AI models as a black box, which will do everything perfectly and reliably. That can't be farther away from the truth. So we need to have a very fundamental understanding of how they're built, what they're designed to do, what they can do, and most importantly, what they cannot do. And that kind of a deep knowledge only comes from a sustained period of study to actually like think critically and ask about the capabilities of AI models today and also the ones in the future as they keep coming out. The second thing which I would say is super important is to think about how one can actually solve a real problem that matters to people. So it that part requires talking to stakeholders, going out in the field, and really understanding what can solve people's problems. And I've been doing a bunch of that lately, and oftentimes it leads to very surprising findings because sitting in a room here, we might have certain preconceived notions about what AI can help with, but actually talking to people on the ground is the best way of learning how we can go about and solve these problems. So put those two together and you can do great work.